Is Utah's housing market starting to crash, or is it just cooling off? Let's follow the data and see if the sky is really falling here along the Wasatch Front and throughout the state of Utah. Now, the national headlines are touting that the housing market is beginning to crash. You can see cracks in the housing market throughout many parts of the nation, but especially in those areas that have been the fastest growing spots. Now, that includes all of the Sunbelt states, as well as the Intermountain West here in Utah and up north in Idaho. But these are the places where we've seen the most growth in the country in recent years. And so it is my goal in this video to make sure that I give you the clearest information possible and the truth and the data behind what's happening in our market here in Utah, so that if you're looking to buy or sell real estate anywhere throughout the state, you're better prepared. And my promise to you is to use the truth, the data that tells the story of what's happening in our market, so that you're best prepared. So the very first thing that I wanted to do is take a deep dive into the data behind what's happening in Salt Lake County, Utah County, Davis, and Weber counties up north, as well as Summit County and Washington County. I want to make sure that I'm giving you relevant information so that you can see what's actually happening in our marketplace. And the bottom line is price growth is deaccelerating, not reversing. So let's start off with Salt Lake County. And so in Salt Lake County, as of May of 2025, Salt Lake home prices, just single family homes, are sitting at $625,000, which is identical to where it was 1 year ago. In other words, there's a 0% change with respect to single family homes. And on the flip side, when we talk about townhouses and condominiums, the price is sitting at $423,900 compared to last year, where it was at $435,000, which equals a decrease in prices by 2.6%. Overall, the housing prices, when you factor in all single family homes as well as townhomes and condos, have gone up 2% year over year from May 2024 to May 2025. That's Salt Lake County. The housing market remains strong here, but it's kind of interesting to me that townhomes and condos have gone down just a little bit in prices. And I don't really put a lot of weight into that until there's a really significant number behind it. But I do believe that it's probably a matter of oversaturation, but I probably do attribute that to an oversaturation of those units that happen to be available. Next, let's move down to the fastest growing county in Utah, and that's Utah County, just south of Salt Lake City. In Utah County, single family homes are sitting at $600,000 even, compared to last year in May of 2024, where they were at $599,950. So basically, they've gone up 1.5% in the last year for single family homes. And on the flip side, when we look at townhomes and condominiums, the prices are sitting at $390,706 compared to last year's $416,000. That's a decrease of 6.1%. So you can see the same thing that's happening in Salt Lake County, it's happening in Utah County, just to a greater degree. And overall, when you factor in all single family homes as well as townhomes and condominiums, the prices in Utah County have decreased by 2% year over year from May 2024 to May of 2025. And look, I attribute this to a massive amount of new construction that's happening in the area. The growth in Utah County has been absolutely incredible. And so it's these higher growth areas that are going to be more affected by what's happening in the market. And in real estate terms, we consider this a little bit softer market than what we were experiencing for the last couple of years. But ultimately, prices have gone down in Utah County overall by 2%. Okay, next up, let's move up north to Davis and then Weber counties. So in Davis County, which sits just north of Salt Lake County, the prices of single family homes sit at $580,000 compared to last year, which was $543,000. That's a substantial increase of 6.7%. I think that this is most likely because of its proximity to Salt Lake City. This area has become more and more in demand as it is so incredibly close to the city. And because of that, we're seeing those prices being reflected in the transactions that are taking place. So single family homes are on the rise in Davis County. And on the flip side, townhomes and condominiums sit at $419,500 compared to last year of $408,500. That's an increase of 2.7%. So just like the single family homes, townhomes and condos have shot up just a little bit in price as well, which means that the overall market in Davis County this year compared to May of last year is up 3.3%. It's kind of funny to look at what the differences can be just within 20 to 30 minutes of a city. The market here's up 3%. The market down in Utah County is down just slightly 2%. It really depends on the neighborhood and the city. So everything comes into play. So regardless of where you live, if you're looking to sell your home, it's crucial to know your market because there are so many nuances within each community as well. So this is just overarching across the county, but every single area, community, and neighborhood within the county is going to have different market statistics as well. Okay, let's move a little bit further north up into Weber County in the Ogden metropolitan area. And in Weber County, single-family homes have actually decreased in prices year over year from May of last year to May of this year, and that is reflected in the prices dropping from $481,000 down to $473,000. Townhomes and condominiums have also dropped substantially from $365,000 down to $341,000, which is a 6.3% decrease. And overall, across all property types in Weber County, the market has dropped 2.5% from last year, so year over year from May of 2024 to May of 2025. So you can see how the differences vary from Weber County to Davis County, and then again in Salt Lake and Utah counties, it's very different depending on where you're looking to live. And last but not least, I want to make sure that I talk about Washington County in southern Utah as well. Single-family homes in Washington County are sitting at $594,500 compared to $597,000 last year. That's a 0.5% decrease in prices. As for townhomes and condos, those prices have shot up 2.4% from $369,000 up to $379,000, with an overall market improvement of 3.7% for all property types in Washington County. So again, Washington County is the second fastest growing county in the state, and it's still thriving and going up 3.7% year over year. Okay, so who has the upper hand right now in terms of buyers or sellers? Now, most real estate agents will tell you any time is a really good time to buy real estate. And so regardless of what your goals are, reach out to us. We can make sure that we give you that proper guidance. But ultimately, what's happening in the market right now, and what does this mean? Well, one of my favorite statistics to watch in terms of market conditions is called the absorption rate. In other words, what this means is if no new listings were to hit the market moving on from today moving forward, how long would it take to sell off the existing inventory of homes that are currently on the market at the current selling rate that they're going at? So what this typically means is if we have an inventory supply of anywhere from 4 to 6 months, that's typically considered a very balanced market. If it's over 6 months of supply, that means it's very much a buyer's market and sellers are going to be struggling to sell their homes. But if that inventory level is below 4 months, if it's 2 months or 3 months, or even down into the half of a month that we saw back in the pandemic, this is what's considered a seller's market. And right now we sit just over 4 months supply, which means we're right in that neutral balanced territory. And this feels quite different than what we've experienced over the last handful of years where the sellers really had most of the leverage. What does that mean for you if you're a buyer? Well, if you're looking to buy real estate, that means you have more leverage today than you have in quite a few years. This leverage means you're going to see more price reductions, more price drops, more incentives to make sure that you can get the best deal possible on your home. This is also true with new construction homes. Builders especially are pushing their product like crazy because they, just like so many other companies, have shareholders to answer to, and they don't want to slow down their production, and so they're offering major discounts. Recently this week, I've done a deep dive in the new construction market to see what's happening this week in new construction and what builders are offering in terms of incentives. I've seen multiple builders offering 6% back to make sure that people can buy down their interest rate and be down in that 5% territory to make sure they get into a new home. So if you're considering new construction, this is the best market condition that I've seen in recent years, and it could mean it's a good time for you as well. So new construction is definitely a major play, but it's not only with new construction. We're also seeing a lot of sellers that are selling their home offer those same concessions as well. So we negotiate those all the time for clients as well to make sure that they can get that lower mortgage payment and get into that home for a reasonable price. But overall, buyers have more leverage today than they have for years. And so I've got some practical advice here. If you're buying a home in 2025 in Utah, number one, I think you should focus on the total monthly payment, not just the price of the home. The monthly payment is what's going to make this home affordable or not affordable, depending on your unique situation. So if you need help with that, reach out to us. We'll make sure that we give you the proper guidance and get you with the right people to make sure that we get you along that path. But ultimately, looking at the price is not the only way to go. You've got to look at that monthly payment. Next up is negotiate. This is why we're here as real estate professionals. I love negotiating on behalf of my clients, and it's negotiating those concessions or those price reductions to make sure that you're getting the best deal possible with the most amount of money in your pocket to leverage those 2-1 buy downs where you can obtain a much lower interest rate for the first year or 2 or even 3, or a permanent rate buy down depending on what you're looking to do. And with 35% of our listings that are currently on the market having already dropped their prices, sellers are looking to get a deal done. So this is a really good strategy as a buyer's agent myself to make sure that I'm negotiating the best deal for you. But if you're a seller, the best way we can market your property is to make sure that we're offering some of these incentives to make your property more appealing than all of the others that you're competing with. And my next piece of advice is look at the neighborhoods where you're seeing a lot of growth. You're seeing revitalization, you're seeing redevelopment, you're seeing people invest in those communities, whether it's older homes in older communities, or perhaps it's new construction and new development areas. These are the areas where you're likely going to get the best deal, number one, but also this is where you're going to find the best homes in the best neighborhoods. Also, if you're selling a home in 2025 in Utah, there's a few tips of really practical advice that I'd love to offer. Number one is you've got to price your home where buyers can finance the home today. You can't chase the prices that you could get a couple of years ago. You've got to price it to move by making it attractive to the buyer that's looking at your home as well as many others in the current market. And the next step is to prep your home and to stage your home properly for scroll stopping media. That includes video marketing. Video is the most powerful tool in our tool belt as real estate professionals to market your property and get it in front of the right eyeballs to make sure that you get people and traffic going through your home and get those offers. And the secret weapon to market your property right now is to offer that rate buy down. That is the biggest pain point for buyers in the market today. So if we put that into your marketing in not only the video, but the print and all forms of marketing, this is actually what's winning buyers over. And this is how we're able to get homes sold quickly. And so as I scour through the data each and every day in the real estate business myself, I love paying attention to what's happening in the market and making sure that I can be proactive and not just reactionary to what's happening, but proactive so that I can be ahead of things for my clients. I do think that Utah's market is stable. It is absolutely softer than it's been in years past, but it's certainly not crashing either. I don't know if this is going to be an indicator of what's to come. We have a little bit of uncertainty moving forward throughout 2025 and beyond, but ultimately Utah's market is not crashing. It is just right sizing. And I think that this is healthy because personally, I think it's a terrible thing if Utah housing prices continue to skyrocket. I would love to see these prices remain at bay and stay stagnant for a couple or a few years so that we can make sure that people have a little more flexibility in their options so that they can actually get into a home. And as I always say, I don't think that skyrocketing real estate prices is good for the state of Utah at all. So this is actually really refreshing to see from my perspective and hopefully from your perspective as well. And so reach out to us. You can find my contact information down below in the description, or you can book a call with me on the link that you'll find in the pinned comment on this and every video. And if this video is helpful for you, I would love it if you would subscribe to the channel, as I want to make sure you're constantly updated with what's fresh, what's happening, and the updates of what's to come here in the state of Utah. And that's all for today, and we'll see you in the next video.